Welcome back to Cord Cutting today, where I break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting right now and give you my opinion on them, including cable TV networks like Fox News, MSNBC, and others could lose 7 million paying customers this year. We'll tell you what's happening. Dish reported its earnings wasn't great. We'll tell you a little bit more about how many subscribers they lost. And cable TV companies are opposed to ATSC 3.0. We'll tell you why in a quick second, and it may surprise you why they're fighting against the transition to the new over-the-air TV standard. These stories and a whole lot more coming up in a quick second. First though, if you want to learn more about any of them, you can find a link to every story I talk about in the show notes and in the first pinned comment. If you like what we do me a favor, hit that subscribe button or hit that thumbs up. Doing one or both lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here, so YouTube recommends our videos to more people, and hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of TV and still watch the shows you enjoy. All right, let's dive into it. Now, we already talked about how bad the first quarter of 2025 was, but let's talk about 2025. So in the first 3 months of 2025, Fubo, Hulu Plus Live, and Sling TV lost a collective 602,000 subscribers there with that. 602,000 subscribers. Now, those subscribers aren't going back to cable TV because some of the largest cable TV and satellite providers lost over 1 million subscribers during the same time. So in grand total, over 1.6 million people canceled a pay TV service that gave them access to things like Fox News, ESPN, MSNBC, and more with that. Working out to be roughly 18,000 people every single day canceling these services. That's a huge problem for Fox News, ESPN, MSNBC, really every cable TV network. Even if the people who watch those networks don't cancel, even if all the sports fans continue to pay for ESPN, that means all the other people who are paying for them don't. See, when you subscribe to a service like YouTube TV or Fubo or Comcast or Spectrum, your part of your bill goes to every channel, whether or not you watch it. And there's different rates. More popular channels get a little bit more money than lesser known channels get less. But that raises a problem here. How can networks like Fox News and CNN and MSNBC and ESPN and the list goes on continue if they're going to lose, projected with this, over 7 million, could even be as high as 8 or more million subscribers in 2025. That's a big loss on their bottom line and an impact that right now they don't have a great answer for. But we're seeing some now. That's why you're seeing ESPN going to launch a subscription streaming service later this year to give direct access to its content, because it'll get a little bit more money from people who actually watch it. Will it be enough to actually overcome the millions of people who have paid for these channels for years and never watched them? We'll have to see. Disney's not alone in doing this. Fox is also launching a direct-to-consumer streaming service for its Fox News and sports channels. Be interesting to see if locals are included in that also. But what we're seeing here is very clear. The number of people paying for cable TV is plummeting. These are bad numbers, no matter how you look at it. Yes, you can say, well, Spectrum had a little bit better quarter than last year, but Comcast was a little worse. Dish didn't do too well. But seeing the number of cord cutters cancel Fubo, Hulu Plus Live, Sling TV is very concerning, because that results in these customers out there being unable, or these networks being unable to continue to fund them. There's hope that people would just move over to a live TV service. Is just not happening. We'll have to keep a close eye on this, but leave me a comment. Have you completely canceled live services and gone to on-demand things like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and more? And free ones like Pluto TV. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you've done. Honestly, if you're not a sports fan, why are you paying for live TV? I want to hear from you. All right, let's break that down. So Dish, on Friday, our next story up, reported its first quarter 2025 numbers, and they lost 383,000 subscribers. Now, they did see a slight drop in the number of subscribers lost, but they also saw revenue fall, which is very concerning here with that. Sling TV lost 187,000 subscribers with that. So a little bit better than Fubo and Hulu, but in the grand scheme of things, it's so minor it doesn't make a difference here. They're averaging roughly 200,000 subscribers lost. Fubo expects to lose another 200,000 subscribers in the second quarter of 2025. It's an interesting time to be a TV provider. There's just no way around it. People have increasingly decided live TV is not worth it. They get more than enough content from on demand that's significantly cheaper. Especially if you take ad supported. If you subscribe to 4 services, you can often get those for under $40 a month and have, let's be honest, you can get Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, Disney Plus or Max or something like that, especially if you take advantage of bundles, significantly cheaper than cable TV and get so much content it'll probably be very difficult to watch it. How that play out in the long run? I think that's why we're seeing this decline in TV. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think. All right, let's keep moving along. Cable TV companies are opposing ATSC 3.0. What's ATSC 3.0? Well, that's the new over-the-TV air standard where you get an antenna on your TV and you pick up free channels with an antenna. I get over 50 where I live here in Michigan with an antenna. So with that, there's a new standard. It promises things like 4K, all kinds of new features like on-demand content and more. And with this, local TV station owners are trying to push for it to be mandatory, set an end date here in a few years, that the current over-the-air signals will shut down and customers will need to upgrade their TVs or get an adapter box to be able to convert it. Now there's a lot of benefits with this. It promises some hope of better signal coverage, on-demand content, additional features, and 4K. So far, a lot of that has not come to become a reality yet. One big downside, though, is DRM. This new over-the-air standard includes DRM that unfortunately has made it very difficult for DVRs and other things to work the way they want to, especially with ones that are networked like HD Home Run or Tableau DVR to work with the DRM. Now, a lot of customers have been upset. Let's be honest here. Comcast are not doing this because customers don't like the new standard. They're doing this because, honestly, I think they're afraid of over-the-air becoming popular. That while, yes, ATSC 3.0 has some massive drawbacks, it does promise, if it ever becomes a reality, 4K, on-demand content free, and other content offered free over the air, meaning that cable TV providers could eventually be in an even bigger pickle because more subscribers will start using antennas. By the way, if you're not, I highly encourage you to research it. You may be amazed what you can get in your area. And I know I always get this, well, I live somewhere I don't get anything. I understand that. I lived in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri area when I cut the cord. No over the air there. The vast majority of Americans, though, do. And like I said, I get 50, including all my local ABC, CBS, Fox, the CW, NBC, and more. So check it out. But they're really doing this because they're worried this will speed up cord cutting even more. Not because they think that, ATSC 3.0 is any worse than 1.0. All right, let's keep moving along. AMC lost 200,000 subscribers to its streaming services. Again, cord cutters are cutting back, paying for fewer services in an attempt to make money. The big thing here is the revenue from cable networks continue to fall as they're getting less and less subscribers. What we just talked about in the first story, you're seeing the impact here with that. All right, today in TV history is maybe more of a radio history, but though there's a little TV connection here. One of my all-time favorite personalities ever on the radio celebrated a huge milestone over the weekend. Paul Harvey, the rest of the story. Celebrated 49 years ago, this past weekend. Paul Harvey's The Rest of the Story first aired on ABC radio networks and captivated an audience. I'll be honest, to this day, I grew up listening to Paul Harvey even as an adult. 8:30, 11:45, and then again in the afternoon, I would turn on Paul Harvey. I think it was like 2:30 or 3:30, I would have to check, I can't remember off the top of my head, when The Rest of the Story would air. To this day, when 11:45 especially rolls around, I still think about, oh man, You know, I can tell you exactly what AM radio station it was on in my hometown. I can tell you the time of it. I grew up making sure that was appointment listening. When I was in high school, I spent my summers working my dad's company in the warehouse. And at 8:30 and 11:45, all the radios in the warehouse would turn to Paul Harvey. It was a big warehouse. They did cabinets and laminate and building materials. Huge warehouse full of stuff. And I helped out in the summer. No matter where you went, multiple radios all over the building, all ended up turning to Paul Harvey, and a hush would come across the building as everybody listened to Paul Harvey. And listened in the car and more. So, I know it's not necessarily a normal television today in history, but this one hit close to home because it's a fond memory of myself. And I still wish the family behind the estate would release all of his rest of the stories, even if it's not all of them, just collections of them on CD or digital download. I would happily pay for them with that. All right, let's keep moving along though. But any Paul Harvey fans, any Paul Harvey stories? Leave me a comment, let me know. All right, next up, Peacock is pulling the plug on its cheaper ad-free plan upgrade. Now, Peacock has always had where it's an ad-supported plan and an ad-free plan. But did you know if you're on an ad-supported plan, you could add ad-free for a few bucks a month? The catch here is a lot of people took advantage of Peacock's special deals. It seems like Peacock is always running a deal of some kind to give you 6 months or 20 bucks or a year for some type of crazy good deal for Black Friday. Well, all you could do is take that $20 a year offer and then upgrade it with an ad-free for just a few dollars. Now Peacock has announced later this year, customers on the automatic subscription for that upgrade to get ad-free for a few dollars a month will no longer get it. You'll be downgraded back to the ad-supported unless you leave that ad-supported plan and your discounted offer and go completely to the ad-free monthly one. I think Peacock's realized that probably a lot of people were taking advantage of that deal to get super cheap ad-free, and they closed that loophole now, getting rid of it. Downside is it does make it harder to upgrade. You basically have to transition your whole plan. You can't take advantage of some of these monthly deals with that. So keep that in mind. All right, there's a potential news about the NFL. The NFL opening game weekend will have an opening day special in Brazil. Now, according to The Athletic, YouTube will reportedly stream the game for free. It will not be on cable television, will not be on a broadcast TV network. It'll stream for free on YouTube as YouTube tries to grow its ad inventory and bring sports to YouTube with that. Not confirmed, not announced, but according to The Athletic, they're the front runner, most likely to be the broadcasters of the network. And lastly, in our last story up of the day, Amazon Prime Video app has updated on Roku and other devices with some tweaks, very minor ones, UI user interface tweaks. One of them now is they've made the button to watch the credits bigger. At the end of a movie or television show, especially in television shows, it will allow you to skip forward, jump to the next episode. But let's be honest, sometimes there's things in the episode, maybe at the end of the credits, or you just want to see the credits. Well, Amazon Prime Video has made that easier. Now, not only is there a button to jump next, but right next to that button, which is default to jump to the next episode and skip the commercials, but with a quick click, you can now watch the credits and then skip to the next episode after the credits. Nice little feature change there. I hope more services do. Because yes, often you want to skip the credits, but sometimes, especially with movies, there are times you want to see it. Well, that's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic day. We'll be back again tomorrow with another video. Until then, take care, be safe. I'll talk to you all again real soon.